Accepting an audition isn't always an easy yes. One of the factors to consider is when the job is a local or regional hire. Local hire usually means that the actor is responsible for expenses to travel to the location and living expenses for that trip. Can you afford the last minute airfare, car rental or Ubers, hotels, and meals if you book the job? You'll get the day rate and residuals from the project, but expenses are yours. They hire and treat you as if you lived locally to that location. And even if you can afford to lose money on the gig, is that specific project going to elevate your career? Let's talk about the pros and cons of working as a local hire actor. Hi, I'm Nancy Nave. I've been a working actor in film and television for over 16 years. I'm also a career coach for actors, guiding you into the industry with my online courses or by holding your hand and walking you step by step into the industry. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you'd like more content on being a working actor in the film and television industry. Here's some reasons why projects might only want local hire actors. Number one, budget. Production costs increase significantly when all expenses are paid for actors. Number two, schedule. The schedule of scenes can be too tight or shifting to have the time to fly someone in at the last second. When your shoot date is moved to tomorrow morning, it might be impossible to get you to set in time, unless you already live there. Three, tax incentives. Some states offer tax benefits to production companies who hire locally. This helps employ more local actors, funneling more funds into the area. Number four, COVID or viruses. We saw a rise in requests for local hire during the pandemic. There was too much risk in flying someone in on a plane and bringing COVID to the set. It only took one positive test on a set to quarantine cast and crew and shut down the whole production. During this time, some productions would require you to take a COVID test and then quarantine away from everyone for 5 days before you even showed up for the wardrobe fitting, let alone your shoot date. So this would have added on many days to the trip before shooting. Number
Hmm.
five, because they want to. The bigger roles are usually taken care of in full, but the smaller roles will be the target for local hire actors. You'll have to agree before you audition that you're willing to work as a local hire. Sometimes they'll make you state that in your slate before you audition. I can work as a local hire to Atlanta or wherever it is that it's shooting. And also that I live in Los Angeles, but I can be booked locally out of Austin or wherever it is that you're going to work from locally. Oh, and you'll need to be able to provide an address within 500 miles of the location for tax reasons for production. I started my career in San Antonio, Texas, working the New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, and entire Southeast market for the first 8 years. A lot of work that I booked was local hire, meaning that I agreed to pay for my own travel, hotel, and meal expenses. Sometimes it was a regional hire, which means they'd pay for my expenses to drive to set within 500 miles, but most everything else was up to me. And I do have the most amazing Louisiana talent agent who fights for every penny. So if there's any wiggle room, she'd get it. Thanks, Don. Then I moved out to Los Angeles in 2015 to widen my opportunities. Honestly, I was expecting the red carpet treatment when you book a job out in LA. I started booking LA jobs in film and TV, which were basically in my backyard, and I didn't need to worry about travel expenses. But since I was still auditioning for jobs outside of Los Angeles, I ended up back in the same predicament of having to weigh the pros and cons of local and regional hire. So let's get this notion out of the way quickly. You just booked your first gig in Atlanta as a local hire, but you live in
Uh-oh.
Austin. You could easily say, hey, this will be fun and I'm just going to go for it. If this is the one gig that you're going to book and acting is just a fun hobby, maybe that works for you. But realize that the drive is almost 1,000 miles away, and sometimes you need to get there within 24 hours notice or less. So you start looking at the last minute round trip ticket that will cost at least $400 or more. And many times the schedule changes. So getting this ticket ahead of time means you'd better be ready to change your flight, adding on change fees. Then, if you don't have a friend that lives in that location with an empty couch, you're going to need a hotel. You'll probably need at least 2 nights in the hotel, so on the low end, that's another $300 or more. And you'll have to get to the hotel from the airport and from your hotel to the set and back and forth. So plan on Ubers or renting a car, another expense. And don't forget about eating. That's a must. No one wants you passing out on set, so you gotta eat. Even if you're okay with all these expenses, it happens quite frequently that the schedule slips from one day to the next, repeatedly, and you might be asked to stick around for a few days until your new shoot date. This means extra nights in your hotel, food, and a change of flight. Quick story. One of my local hire gigs in New Orleans postponed my shoot date as possibly in 2 to 3 days, they said. But they sent the email while I was already on my plane and didn't get it until I landed in New Orleans. Luckily, I have good friends who live 2 hours away, so I hopped in my rental car and hung out at their house for a couple of days until they finalized my shoot date. By the way, these good friends saw me so often because of issues just like this that they actually gave me an extra key to their house for emergencies if they weren't home when I needed shelter.
Hello? Hello? Is anybody there?
So, in this scenario where I've laid out the perfect shoot schedule, you should still plan on a minimum of about $1,000 out of pocket expenses, plus more if and when they change the schedule. Also, if you have to leave your job using vacation or sick days, this can get sketchy because of the extended days if they postpone your shoot. Don't be surprised if they push your shoot out a week or more. If you're already on the ground in that location, it can get tricky to navigate the plan of action. But if you intend to keep acting, you're going to keep running up against this local hire issue audition after audition. Mind you that local hire isn't just a low budget film concept. Even the blockbuster films can ask for local hire. I heard a story that the film Furious 7 from the Fast and Furious movies had put out a wide casting call for background actors from all over the world to be in a huge party scene. People were so excited that they were flying in from all over the place to have a chance to be in one scene at their own expense. To check off part of a bucket list? Maybe. But it probably only cost production about $200 a person for their day fee as a background actor. And it might have cost those background actors thousands of dollars. And they might not even come out in the finished film. I'm sure the experience was fun on set, but that would be like a once in a lifetime thing. So for today, we're talking about committed actors who are in this for the long haul. Here are the pros for saying yes to a local hire. Number one, get to work on another film or TV project and make your day rate and any residuals. Number two, possibly get to work with famous actors and directors. Number three, get to be in an iconic film project, which is a big reason people flock to the Furious 7 movie. 4, another good credit on your resume. 5, hopefully you can add your scene to your reel footage. I say hopefully because scenes get cut from the finished film and scenes can also have camera focus more on the main actor than you, making the scene unusable for your own reel. Number 6, networking with people in the industry. You never know who you're going to meet who might impact your career. Number 7, getting in good with the casting director who worked on this film. Casting directors remember the actors who book work, so they may bring you back to audition again for roles in their next projects. Number 8, the pay for this role might be higher than your expenses. Number 9, the character is so interesting to you that it's worth the expense. And 10, the experience of being on set. Every set is different and gives you a new story to tell and examples to learn from. The more you're on set, the more prepared you are as an actor for your next gig. Here are the cons. 1, out-of-pocket expenses. Even if you book a supporting role in a feature film, your pay rate for one day on set might be $1,200. Then you need to subtract the commissions you pay to your agent and manager if you have one. That might be 30% of your check that goes to your team, so you're down to $840. You're already under the $1,000 expense we estimated for your trip. So you've lost a minimum of $160 for this job. I don't know about you, but I like to make money when I've worked my butt off taking acting classes, getting updated headshots, paying for casting websites. But if losing money doesn't bother you, let's move on to the other con. Number 2, time. One of the hardest things for us to manage as actors is our personal life. If you have children, or you work a full-time job, or you're in school, things that we're responsible for or participating get put on hold when we go off to shoot a movie. To be gone for the expected time is okay. We've planned for that. But when there's a significant delay in the project and a few days of delays turns into weeks, you're in trouble. Can you afford to take that gamble with your time? But this kind of delay can create havoc where you're going to need to ask for your childcare to help for a few more days, which can cost more money. Or use more vacation time at work, or even get into trouble because you're gone too long. Or maybe you're missing your tests or critical lessons in class. If you work an hourly job, this also means that you're going to make less money that week. Realize that a schedule change is part of every film, TV, and commercial project. Whether it's SAG, non union, local hire, all expenses paid, whatever it is. The nature of our industry is that things change. It might be raining today and it wasn't supposed to, so delay. The shoot location might be unacceptable and a new location needs to be found last minute. Delay. A new virus has popped up and the world is shutting down. Delay. The lead actor just broke their leg. Delay. The making of movies and TV shows is like a living organism and it's impacted by its weakest link. The smallest ripple can cause delays, which affects all of us. So before you jump into an audition, make sure you read all the details before you agree. But if you do want to turn it down, and if you have agents or managers, make sure to discuss this with them first. They might have some insight into the project that's not listed. Don't turn auditions down lightly. The more you turn down, the more the casting director will doubt you'll accept the next invitation. And if you're just against local hire roles, make sure to have this discussion with your reps so they don't submit you for these auditions. It'll save everyone time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel for more content on being a working actor in the film and television industry. Only you can decide whether this local hire job for that particular project is acceptable. Make sure to advocate for yourself always. There will always be another project around the corner. Don't overextend yourself, then have regrets later. You've got to put yourself first in these cases. So choose wisely. Have a great day and break a leg.